As promised, joining me now, Oscar-winning documentary filmmaker, author, and activist, the one and only Michael Moore. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you here on Casual Friday.
Is it Casual Friday? You decide. It's Fallback Friday.
They were trying to put makeup on me out there. I said, there's nothing you can fix here. It's Casual Makeup Friday for me.
Well, they say if it ain't broke.
Well, that's the other way to look at it. Yes, a better self-esteem would help on some level.
We just watched that accounting we put together. People have seen bits of that. To see it all together is quite striking. Could you write a story like this? And what does it mean when the protagonists start to come out and say, we did it, we do crimes, get over it?
Yes. Listen, I don't want to... We have to take this seriously.
Yes.
It is obviously a Rolling Thunder review of comedy going on in the White House. Nonetheless, they're still in charge. Every day, their EPA is getting rid of regulations to protect us. Their Interior Department is selling off our public lands to the oil and gas companies, et cetera, et cetera. So the real things are happening while we're all, baffled by this implosion that seems to be taking place. And so on one hand, it's good to laugh. On the other hand, we need to act as quick as possible. And we're all going to be okay if that happens. I do believe that.
You've talked a lot about how regular people who aren't politically obsessed the way some of us might be, or news obsessed, hear about stuff, learn about stuff, and you're uniquely, I would argue, qualified for that when you look at how you've dealt with jobs in the manufacturing crisis, guns, which I'm going to get to, the Iraq War. You've looked a lot at how people come to understand the stories and how to change minds. I wonder if what we saw from Mr. Mulvaney, whatever reason he did it, in your view, is one of these inflection points that could change minds. Take another look, Michael, at more of this, because I think it's still just sinking in this busy time. Mr. Mulvaney coming out to the podium and pressed on the specifics of whether this was an attempt to get a foreign country to do it, tied to extorting a bribe around money, and he says, yes, take a look.
Did he also mention to me in the past the corruption related to the DNC server? Absolutely. No question about that. But that's it. And that's why we held up the money. The look back to what happened in 2016 certainly was part of the thing that he was worried about in corruption with that nation. And that is absolutely appropriate.
Withholding the funding. Yeah. What you just described is a quid pro quo.
We do that all the time with foreign policy. I have news for everybody. Get over it.
This man obviously is going to be admitted into heaven. He told the truth. I mean, you have to appreciate it on that level.
Are you calling Mick Mulvaney an angel?
No, the angels are already in heaven.
You're right.
In order to get through the pearly gates.
I got to tell you something. I don't know if you know this about my background. I'm not really up to speed on the whole heaven thing.
Yeah, no, this is one of the great things about your religion, if I may compliment this. Isn't there like a third holiday or holy day we're in right now? But basically, the idea that there is no hell is brilliant.
Okay, but you say that
all of us who had to believe in that.
You're not a Trump.
We had a difficult adolescence.
You're not a Trump fan, but you are very positive on Mick Mulvaney, as you put it. You think he told the truth.
Yeah, he came right out there. All I can say, again, if there was a movie version of this, somebody stuck him with a needle just before he walked out onto the stage there, a truth serum needle. And he just went on and on saying, yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, of course. Of course. Essentially admitting there is a quid pro quo. In fact, there's many quid pro quos. We do this all the time. And then admonishing us in good Catholic school fashion, get over it. It's like, okay, I'm over it. I believe you. I believe that you, the president, and whoever else was on that phone call participated in a high crime, the likes of which I never studied in school, nor have I lived through. And we have lived through some presidents that I didn't particularly care for, but they didn't do this. And I think that I'm surprised, I got to tell you, it's been like 3 weeks now since Trump essentially first admitted it, that he's still there. I don't know many people.
You're saying if you think someone, say like President Obama, did this, orchestrated it, and admitted it, you think the wheels would move way faster?
And not only that, President Obama, being a man of conscience, would have had to say, you know, I screwed up in a big way. I put my personal self-interest ahead of the country's. I put the interests of this other country run by a totalitarian leader ahead of our interests. And so I will have to resign. Decent people throughout history have done that. That, of course, isn't going to happen here. But I just think it's amazing to me. And you know, I have to say, can I just say a word of Nancy Pelosi has actually done a brilliant job. And I see now that she's trying to extend this. Do you ever watch Wheel of Fortune? And, you know,
sure.
They ask for, is there a T? Is there an L? And all of a sudden, the phrase is up there. You can see it. Everybody can see what it is. There's still like 4 or 5 letters. They don't just call it. They want to squeeze it out. They want to extend it a little bit longer to try and get a little more, till they say every last letter. It looks like what's going on.
Drawing this out as she tangs with this president.
She is drawing this out to get that last W, that last Z, whatever it is, because it's clear to all of us now that, Ari, there is more. There's more.
There's
on that.
more. Well, if I
There's
can
more on
extend-
that server.
If I can
they put more on that server.
If I can extend
than
your
just the Ukraine
analogy, Speaker Pelosi doesn't have to buy a vowel because Mick Mulvaney just gave it to her for free.
Yes, and he has also just spun the wheel, and it hit bankrupt.
What did it hit?
It was going between lose a turn and bankrupt.
Now we're going to get to Monopoly because I think it hit go directly to jail, do not pass go.
Do people watching this right now think less of us that we know Wheel of Fortune that well?
I don't know what people think. Let me play, since you're shouting her out, let me play a little bit of Speaker Pelosi because she's been pressed on the timeline before.
Yes.
And she has talked about this because she's tangling with Mitch McConnell, who now says if they send it to him, he wants to do a trial by Christmas. Speaker Pelosi, take a look.
Here we go.
Republican leader Mitch McConnell seems to think that an impeachment trial in the Senate could wrap up before the end of the year.
I have no idea.
Does that seem unrealistic?
I have no idea. The timeline will depend on the truth line, and that's what we're looking for.
This is where you come in because I will tell you this.
Yeah.
A trial is always a story.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go into every single incriminating thing about the person. You figure out how to explain clearly to the jury.
Yes.
Here, the jury is the Senate, but the senators have constituents, which makes it different than every other trial. Do you think that Speaker Pelosi and the Democrats have more they need to add to this story at this point or not?
Yes and no. They have more that's going to come out in the same storyline, similar to what happened with Ukraine. She's right. We don't need now to throw the 57 articles of impeachment up against Trump for the 157 things he did in these last 3 years. That would be crazy time. They're very right to focus on this one thing. My feeling is that there is more there than has come out. And I think even just this week with the people that have been testifying and what we sort of know what they've said, we've learned new things even this week that only put the nail in the coffin deeper.
I really like listening to you. I think it's really interesting the way you talk and think. I want to fit in a break. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.